Today we're looking at installing a V500 plug-in kit on an AU Ford Falcon. In the past, to put any kind of ECU on a Ford Falcon like this, you would have had to have either wired it in or piggybacked it so that you kept all the dashboard and climate control aspects of the car usable. With the V500 plug-in kit, you just plug it in, all your dashboard remains the same, you've got all your temperature gauge working, you've got all your climate control working, and we use all the factory standard sensors. Okay, the original ECU, which is the engine control unit, is in the passenger side kick panel. You unclip the kick panel down here, you remove the screw which holds the brace on for the ECU, and the ECU will then float out like this. To remove the ECU, you use a 10mm socket and undo this screw here. This earth strap screw must be removed. When the V500 is fitted, we'll be fitting an earth strap from the V500 to this same spot as well. Now the fitment of the V500 plug-in kit. Remove it from its case. Remove the woof. You've got your programming cables and discs that we'll be using later. And the plug-in harness. And you'll notice that the plug-in harness has the same connector as what the original ECU did. So we now fit the connector in and we do the bolt up, supporting the connector with your hand so that when it's done up tight, you're not forcing on any wires or the connector is not stressed in any way. This is the earth strap that I was talking about for the woof and the earth strap for the vehicle. We put them back in place. And we plug the woof in. Now there's essentially one more thing that we need to do. You'll notice on the woof we've got a vacuum line here, or a vacuum port. We now need to hook up manifold vacuum to the woof. Now on an AU, the quickest and easiest place to put a vacuum line is through the rubber grommet of the body, where the body wiring goes. Now, easy way to access that, we remove the two screws that hold the water bottle on and pull it up out of the way. We unplug the wiring and remove the actual the water bottle from the car. You will now see that we've got a big grommet, body grommet here, that has sections on them, little indentations. You can actually just take a screwdriver and punch a hole through that section and a vacuum line can be passed through. The vacuum line we're using today is a grey vacuum line that has a very thick wall on it, so it can't be squashed by the body grommet or anything else. Can handle up to about 30 psi of pressure. Now I've teed in with a T-piece here to a constant vacuum source. Now generally your fuel pressure vacuum line is a constant vacuum source, but just make sure that you're not on a vacuum source that goes to blow-off valves or bleeds off to boost controls, because that's going to give you an inaccurate reading. So we've teed into with our vacuum line. I've pushed the vacuum line through there. We'll fit the water bottle up. We'll go in and show you where our vacuum line hooks up now. Okay, we've pushed the vacuum line through. We now open the glove box, put slight pressure inwards on the glove box there. That allows that to fold down and we have access to behind the glove box. With a long pair of pointy nose pliers, we can pull the vacuum line through. So you want to pull about 1 metre through. Now that will loop up and allow us to push down behind the back of the glove box here and around to the woof. This is my vacuum line coming through now, and you'll see I've made it just long enough that it's not going to bend or crimp when the woof's in place, so it's going to be long enough that it just sits there. We now push the vacuum line over the barb fitting, and if you're not using thick-walled vacuum line, a zip tie around that would also be a very good idea. Now, for installation of the woof into the car, the igniter goes up into the kick panel there, behind everything else. The wiring just tucks back up into its usual position. The woof folds over like that, and the kick panel then folds back up. This is the serial data connector. What I recommend is that you put the serial cable on that and you run it into the glove box. That way you're not removing this every time you want to tune it or your tuner needs to tune it. So what we're going to do, we're going to get our serial data cable. We're going to feed one end down through the back again. Right, and we plug it in like so. Now what that allows is the cable can be left in the glove box for access at all times, so that if tuning is required or if you're changing fuel or boost, your tuner doesn't need to go pulling the computer out, he just needs to plug into the serial data cable. So now you've installed your Woof V500. The benefits to doing it is we can control ignition timing, fuel, boost control. We have full access to the dashboard, so all the original air conditioning works, the coolant temp gauge works, the engine check light works. The bonus to doing it is that in a case like this car, it's got a turbocharger on it. Turbochargers never came out on this model, so we need to now keep the fueling and timing correct. You can now tune the car to have a couple of 100 kilowatts at the wheels and still be a daily driver.